Hello and welcome back. Right. Now then, let's drop that down. And let's get on with the harvest. Where did I leave the harvester? Aha, there we go. Yeah, so there isn't that much left. The last episode I did on here, I had no sound apart from the last 10 minutes. My microphone, I've got to raise the headset. I treated myself a while back with being a content creator. I thought I need a decent headset. And the Razer design is that it actually literally pops the headpiece in and out, which is, in my personal opinion, and only my personal opinion, a very silly design. And that's exactly what happened. The darn thing had worked its way out somewhat. So yes, proves that I personally think it's a silly design. Maybe others do it as well, but I just think it's silly. It should be fixed. It twizzles around, and it's sort of, even when you just pull it about, it sticks out a little bit. And it, obviously over time, just with me taking it off and putting it on the side, it worked its way loose somewhat. So yeah, I've got to add an hour of sound onto last time's video, which I always find annoying because it's amazing. I'd had a little bit of trouble on my FS19 with one of my recording pieces of software, and I had to do the same on that. To play an episode back that's totally silent with no talking, and to think what you were actually talking about the first time, you might think that's really easy, but it actually really isn't. You don't. It's weird how when you're linked and speaking about something at the same time as doing something, you might seem like, oh yeah, that's going to be a doddle of a job, but it's actually not. You can't remember what you were. It's weird. Like now, I'm just talking to you guys and gals, and that's all natural. But if I come back to this, I can't remember what I was doing, and you seem to talk in other tenses as well. Like I'm talking to you now because it's present. Now, because you know that actually you've already done something, you start to talk in the wrong tense. Just lift that as well. I don't want to be trying to rip the earth to pieces. Now, can I? No, it's going to be too awkward. Yeah, so it is actually much more awkward to do than you actually think it is. So yes, I've got that pleasure to look forward to, thanks to my Razer headset. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have got another one. I bought a Logitech, and I really do like the headset. I like the quality of the sound, but it creaks. It's got like lots of plastic, and it literally, no matter how hard you try, I was thinking about taking it to pieces, and I thought, no, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to look like. It's got that much plastic surround that no matter what you do, even just sitting on your head, it makes horrible creaking noises that you can actually hear on the video. So I thought, no, that's why I thought I'm going to buy a dearer one. And the Razer came up on reviews as being a really good one, and it is really good. That I'm not arguing that it's not a good headset, because it really is. But obviously it's also a pain in the backside, because you've got to be so careful about. Let's just get this. Just concentrate for a minute. Yeah, you've got to be so careful. Okay. Just lift you. And switch you off. No point in having you on. Now then, shall we go to the trailer this time? I think that's probably a little bit less time consuming. Yes, I was on my Horbelleron, and quite chuffed. We've just harvested. It's typical on both episodes. My harvests have fallen exactly on the same day, which is quite bizarre. So yes, I've just come from my Horbelleron, and I've literally done a field of sugarcane, and sugarcane takes ages. And it must have taken, because sugarcane's a weird harvest to actually do, the header on this is much bigger, so I can manage to do this on my own really don't mind doing sugar beets. It's not a problem. But sugar cane, it's weird. Even the very harvester is weird. If you do it manually, I was trying to learn how to do it from like watching the AI worker, but I have got to be honest, it is so weird. The actual harvester, if I use the harvester, I actually damage the crop with the wheel of the harvester. When the AI does, obviously he doesn't ever damage anything, or she. It was a he actually this time. So they can, but I was trying to look at the position of them, and it varied. It wasn't the same, and so I thought, well, I'm not learning very much from this, because it's just like not the same every time that they do it. So I thought, as much as it's dear. And it cost me, I think, just about £6,000. Actually, yeah, I need to back that up and say nothing more than that. It must have cost me about £6,000, at least 5. But definitely, a lot of money to get it to do it. But the thing is, I thought, well, if I don't get the AI to do it, to be honest, I'm going to lose crop. And that's more precious. So I literally persevered, let the AI do almost all of the harvest, apart from the tidying up work that needed doing. So yeah, and I definitely got more sugar cane this time than I got last time, and yeah, it was fully fertilised the first time as well. So yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know how it works. It was fully fertilised. No, I did actually. I remember I did work it out. I hadn't limed the field properly the first time, so there was that 15% hit, and that was about right actually. So yeah, 189 tons of sugar cane from a field smaller than this. So on that I've actually bought the second field, but my money's right down again because I've filled my sugar production, my sugar factory, with as much sugar beet as I have sugar cane, so that it runs out at pretty much the same time, because it uses 20 tons a day. I think I've said it on this Let's Play. I do need to say it on my whole Belleron. I'm not silly. I do know that by selling it, I am not making as much as if I did this myself. Oh, what am I doing? Not concentrating, am I? Yeah, I know. I realise I'm not, which is why I'm almost getting half price. But to be honest, as a content creator, you've got to think about. Yeah, I know I like to show everything, and I know sometimes there are times recently where I think, is that always the wisest thing to do? I like to show. I don't like there to be missing bits, but I'm sure people would understand that. But that's the path I've chosen to date. I'm not saying I'll never change. I've always said I wish to improve, so that does include working out whether the way I do things is what I consider best or not. I like to see people to see progress. I don't like to cut things out and say, oh yeah, I harvested the field and this is how much we got. I don't want to do that. I want to show people the progress, show people it is a farm. I want to, especially I suppose when we harvest it. I mean, contracts, I suppose I could do what my favourite content creator does, Mr. Sealy P, and just like show you the cost. But again, it's I often chatter unless it's a time lapse, and then again the time lapse is over in a couple of minutes of most of even the big fields. So I think I'll stick to what I feel comfortable with. But there are moments when that is, if I was to, I will get there, honestly, I'm not if I on every episode had to spend half of the episode in taking my stuff to a sell point and selling that, and I have done it on my whole Belleron. I actually, the first 20 or even 40 tons of product, I actually did do that. So it's not that I am afraid to do that at all. I really don't mind actually doing that, and I did do it. I realise I can get £1,000 per, oh wow, £1,000 per ton, actually over £1,000 sometimes. So that means that for the 40 tons that we do of doing 2 lots of stuff, I would be making 40 grand a day. Hang on, let's get that right. No, sorry, 20 tons. That would be good, wouldn't it? I even surprised myself with that. I was thinking that's actually worth doing. It would be. It gets through 20 tons of sugar beet and sugar cane if you go in both, which I am actually doing. So if that is true, but it only produces 10 tons of each, so that's 20 tons of product a day to sell. On a good day you will get a grand. It doesn't fluctuate, you can get less than that, but I would only sell it on the times when I could get a grand. You can also go up to about 1100. It's the best that I think I've seen it so far. So that means if I sold it on the 1100 days, I'm going to concentrate this time, on the 1100 days I would make like 20, at least 20 grand every single day that we sold our product. But it would be so boring for those watching, because half of the episode would be spent. In fact, it does take a while to load. I cannot auto load. I think there is an auto load trailer. I'm not sure if it's for this kind of pallets or whether it does work or not, but I've seen Frithgar. It's not an official mod hub one, but it is still a proper, I don't know, he was on about it, he put a link in his thing. But if I did something like that, but again, I'm actually trying to move away from that. I'm wanting to literally play as realistically as possible. If I am doing that, if I'm playing realistically, I would be wanting to load. If I'm loading, it's going to take, and I know this because of my whole Belleron, but I literally did persevere, and I did actually get reasonably okay at loading because I'd done lots of practice on those 2 or 3 episodes. I time-lapsed that on that, but I don't want to be wasting hours all the time. So there's a compromise. So I realise I put it on selling. Does mean it sells it. It seems to be an average of about 600, which is rubbish. So to offset that, I am buying obviously sugar cane or sugar beet on to compensate. So I'm putting double the product in but getting half of the price, which is probably equivalent to me using just mine and actually getting like 10 grand from that one set. So it swings and roundabouts, but I'm making that compromise. I know I'm not making as much money as if I did do it properly, because I am wanting to create content that people will watch rather than me boring everybody to tears with every single day I load up my pallets. Or I know I could do this, but again, at present I don't like to do it where I am not showing people what I'm doing. So there's that compromise of like thinking I've got to create content that people want to watch, or that I think people want to watch. If you disagree, then please by all means let me know in the comments. If you think I am like being over silly, or even if like just because I think it's I want to show everything doesn't mean to say that other people think no you're being silly or whatever. Please by all means leave a comment and let me know what you think. Now then, let's keep my eye on the yes. Last time I actually did briefly look to see how much we'd missed. I haven't actually missed that much. I thought I'd have an awful lot of clean-up. There is a little bit on some of the corners, but not an awful lot, so I'm quite chuffed that I've done better than I thought I would. This is definitely better than potatoes though. Oh, having the small potato harvesters is a nightmare. I'd have to leave the AIs to do that because it's just so hard to see the things. Oh, I can see a bit that I've missed there. That's when I was... Yeah, in fact, let's just tidy that up. Let's... about there, I think. You can see the rows, the little tiny stipply bits. Can we finish this row? No, because we'll bash into our equipment at the top. Ooh, and a tree. My bad. Okay, let's pull around. Can we swing and miss the crop? I think we can. Let's turn that off. Whoops. Knocking my weeder around. Yes. Oh. Let's switch that off and lift it a minute. In fact, no, it can stay on. It's not hurting anybody. It's lifted up, so. Now then. Can I get one more load in? That is the question I am asking myself. I've always said this. One thing that does annoy me between flipping from Let's Play to Let's Play is the fact that I sometimes forget what equipment you've got between the two different ones, or I should say you can get confused, or I can anyway. You sort of like, you know that in one of them you've got such and such, and you're like thinking, is it this one or is it that one? So yeah, that's I would like to remind myself after this what I've got. Just trying to think through. No, I'm remembering cedar. Yeah, I've not got a planter, which is what we actually do need because we've not seen one on special offer yet. And I'm trying my best to be a second-hand equipment buyer, but I know I can't. I bought a couple of things brand new. You just can't always wait for a good deal. I mean, some fantastic mods coming out now. The ones that I really love. I know we've actually just bought one ourselves on, I think it was the last episode or the episode before, where it does the liming and the, which I love that when they do the both. It's lovely to see. There's now a lizard one come through that's actually got, that will carry, I think it's 4.5 tons, 4,500 litres, which was a nice surprise because on the mod-up it says it's 4,000, but when you actually go into the shop and look at it, it says 4,500. So that is the maximum capacity I've seen from one of the caster types that sits on the back. I would imagine most tractors would need a weight to compensate for that weight though, because that is like a lot of heavy fertilizer and an awful lot of weight of the actual unit itself. So yeah, and it was very reasonable, 18,000, a 42 metre spread as well, so it was like win-win-win. Obviously we bought our fantastic Redl, which is also a 42 metre, so yeah, it was dearer, I realised, but we've bought it, so I wouldn't swap it for something else just because it's got 500 litre capacity more than the one that we've already got. So that's just like, in my opinion, a little bit silly. Right, let's get ready. There's a bit of, I need to, I think what I'm going to do next time is actually, no I'm not, I'll do any cleanup afterwards. I'm being silly, so there's no point in worrying about it. I think we may just about fill up the trailer on this one. I think may get a bit more over than this, but I'm sure this is about it. Oh, got a bit close. Let's go out a little bit more. Let's see, can we get it all in, or have I misjudged it? That'll do me. I reckon that's not far off. It's probably, I think it's a 33. So what would that be? 6, 24. Not sure. Because they don't always do it exactly 100%. 29. 88%. No, I couldn't have got another load in though, that is true. So it says, it's just, let's switch that thing off. It slowed me down. wonder why it wasn't actually popping up. Perhaps because I was on the wrong implement. Always helps when you're on the right one. Stick this on the outside. Which have we done? I think we got 88 tons off, so I was hoping, not expecting, that this year we would actually get about 100 tons with us extending the field. Looking at what we've done though, I'm not sure we're going to, which is a bit weird. We shall see. I might be, it's not always, you can't, but when I always find the outer sections are the most, because obviously especially doing what I'm doing, going round and round, it actually does get smaller and smaller, so actually the outer rounds are where you get most of the crop from. So yes, we shall see. I'm intrigued to know how we're doing. Anyway, there is a lot left to do. I am literally going to time-lapse this next section, so I'm going to say I shall see you guys and gals on the other side. And that is us done. Very little wastage actually. I thought I'd done a bit worse than that. That's just that little bit in that corner from very early on. So yeah, there's little tiny 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiny little orange spots which are going to be very hard to find and are not going to be terribly an awful lot of money. So if it was big patches, I would fix it. I hate wastage of that type. Right, let's drop that. Just remember that's least. Oh no, that's not the one I want to drop. I want to drop that one. And we should drop this one. But let's repair this. In fact, let's repair them both. Repair, yes. Repair, yes. Next I think we need a washer. Definitely need a pressure washer. Right, anyway. Let's go. I'm going to run the thing across the road. I know I could just like drop it straight off. Now then. Now let's check the field because needs lime. Let's remove lime because it always stops you seeing ploughing. Still it's not saying needs ploughing. They changed the rules then. You don't need to plough after a root crop. That's just bizarre. I don't get it. Oh well, it is what it is. You can't argue with the map. It says it is. So right. So this time we are going to. Now this is interesting. Before we plough it, oh, we don't need to plough it. Will it accept lime as is, just like that? I wonder. Let's just test this theory out. Yeah, I'm being silly though, aren't I? It would still need cultivating, and obviously I've got oh, I've got to think of the word. It is a plough, but I can't think of its proper name. It's not a power harrow. It is the ones that give the cultivated state. I have got that, so I'm gonna have to plough it anyway, because that is my cultivator, if you know what I mean, as in it gives you the cultivated state. So yes, and let's run this across. Mind you, actually no, because if we were ever going to use that, let me just return that. One of these times we'll actually be able to buy one. Return, yes. I know I will have done, but I can't recall what was on special. Yes. Yeah, some really good deals. But again, did I? That's right, have I loaned again? I can't remember whether. I know I did at one point. No, I've returned it. That's brilliant. Smashing. Okie dokie. Let's just quickly check for any contracts that I fancy. Fertilising, teeny weeny. Harvesting. No grains though, we can't do any grains. I'm not sure about. I have done a soybeans and it did actually work. No, we'll leave it. Let's go over to our thing. We will finish this by going over till tomorrow. Let's just have a look. I would check in editing because I'm not 100% sure whether we had some sugar beet left. And still well short of what I said. Now that is bizarre. We got 88 tonnes from last year's off the smaller field. We double fertilised it, and this year we got 91 tonnes, and that's, I'm not even sure if there was any left over. That makes no sense at all. It's like it's totally ignored the fact that I've expanded the field. I double fertilised it. There was nothing I forgot. The only thing I would have taken was a slight hit of 15% for the liming, but we're talking about 15%. That's, you're not telling me that 3 tonnes was all of that additional. There's something not right. That really, it's almost like it's totally ignored the fact that we've, idiot. Maybe because I haven't quite poured it all in. That trailer is the extra. Now that makes sense. Please forgive my ranting. 23. Yeah, maybe. That's not far off, I don't think. So yeah, I'm happy with that. As long as it's not broken. The one thing that is a bit weird though is it's not showing that it needs ploughing anymore. I mean, I know, as I say, I'm going to plough it with my plough, which gives a cultivated state. Let's have a look at my equipment. You know, my word brain, I'm so tired. Well, what is it? Subsoiler. That is the word. Yes. So I think what we will do in this episode, because it was time lapse, I want to finish all of the. I know I can't plant yet. Mind you, yeah, I would actually truthfully like to get the ploughing done. So I am literally going to go into another bit of time lapsing because this is going to take a while. But I would like to finish this. I would like to get it ready for next year. I will leave the fertilising and liming though until next time. But I will get this at least done. Now that I don't want to allow create fields, it should be right. Okay then, so I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. that is that done. I'm going to leave this near the tree, I think, this time. We are going to literally I'm going to I love looking at the new equipment, and this has been a pretty work episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sleep till tomorrow morning, and we shall see what goodies await, if there's anything good or bad for the farm or not, and leave on a high note. So I shall see you in the morning, so to speak. Now then, do we need to put... No, we've got another day. Brilliant. So we can... Today is fine. Oh, I've done it again, haven't I? Right, let's have a look at my favourite part of the day. We've already got one. I know ours is a tiny one, but yeah. Oh, that's a good... the X9, that's amazing. But we cannot afford it. Right, being as we have got another, I'm going to literally do another sleep straight through. Oh my god, let's have a look at this contract. So let's not be quite so hasty. This time of year it's... Ooh, oh, the tiny weenies. Now that is not a bad idea. I may well use theirs though, because it's a 4 or 6 metre header, isn't it, that? So to borrow equipment reduced by 1,157. We may also obviously get some spare. Now, I've not heard that we'll go for it. I'm going to borrow items. So we have got that massive thing to do tomorrow. Next play session, should I say. Anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. We know what we're doing next session. That's going to be a long one. I think that's definitely going to be a time lapse, without a shadow of a doubt. But I'm going to say for now, goodbye for now.